Hey, we're on. Yeah. Look at that. There we go.
Look at that. Welcome to the Bako Motorsports Power Hour, brought to you by the Bakersfield, California. And joining me is the one and only Blake Bowser. And over there, sitting in for Mike Grumpy Griff, is longtime Bakersfield, Californian sports writer Jeff Evans, who, Jeff, you claim that you've not ever written motorsports. That's not true. You covered the Speedway. You know,
I have never covered Famoso. I've
Okay.
never been at Famoso. I have covered Speedway. I've covered Mesa Marin, and I've even been out at the new track a few times, but mostly filling in. I mean, Mike Griffith would always choose which one to cover, and if then he would say, if you're not doing anything Saturday night, we really need the second track covered. But I do not pretend to have the expertise of you gentlemen on motorsports, but this is such a great motorsports community. It's a great motorsports tradition here, and it's really amazing some of the people that have come through this community over the last 50 years plus. The Mears brothers, I mean, just some of the and the local riders that just create so much interest, and at your track as well as the other tracks in town.
by the way, give Blake a truly remarkable statistic. How long have you sat next to Mike Griffith?
I have been at the Bakersfield, California, and this November it will be 36 years, and Mike was here longer than me. So
Wow.
I do remember that my very first few days of the job here, Mike would not even make eye contact with me because, Mike has always been the type that was very, private, and we had some other reporters here that I'd gone to college with, so I knew some people here. But I remember I actually had to go up and introduce myself to Mike. Usually the new guy is, the established guys introduce themselves to the new guy, but I knew that if I did that, we might have worked for 30 years, and I never would even spoke to the guy.
And have you guys talked since?
Barely. It's funny because they both imitate each other. Mike imitates Jeff on a regular basis, usually with some kind of hand thing. I don't always get that, but then then you imitate Mike, but we can't play that one because it's kind of like we'd have to bleep it out.
It's like an R-rated thing, but Mike will never have ulcers because when Mike is, he doesn't keep anything in, that's for sure. And the explosion when something happens, and it's rather humorous to see it, from a distance. And sometimes one time I imitated about a high school, call, and I slammed the phone down imitating a Mike Griffith, and I actually broke the phone. We had to get a new phone for me.
Probably with a prep sports call, I would think. Hey, you're on the Bob Elias Hall of Fame.
Yes.
How long have you been on the Hall of Fame for?
Boy, I want to say maybe since around it's fun. Maybe 1996, 1997, close to 20 years.
Yeah. How many are there enough drivers in there? Are there?
It's funny.
Not enough?
We have a lot of drivers in there. I think there's been some. I really thought Digger Helm should be in the Hall of Fame. I've been trying to strongly suggest Digger going in and his involvement locally, and I haven't been able to get as much support for him from the other board members. But because I really thought he's one guy that I think what he's meant to the community and. He's probably the one guy that more than anybody else at this point. But we do have quite a few, like George Snyder, Rick Mears, Roger Mears. Those guys are in, and obviously Rick or Kevin Harvick went in about 4 years ago. And
James Warren is in.
I honestly don't know.
Who's that?
James Warren is in.
James Warren is not in. I don't believe. I do not. That name does not ring a bell for being on the.
He's in the Drag Racing Hall of Fame,
right.
so he's
He would be another one that probably. I don't even know if we have him. If he's even been nominated, I think there's a form we asked for anybody watching this that has some people that would be interested. The Bob Elias Hall of Fame does have a website, and there's a way to nominate somebody. And
interesting. Yeah.
And actually the deadline to this is significant. The deadline to be considered for this upcoming year's nomination is July 31st. Okay. So that's only about a little week and a half away. If someone wanted to get on that website, get the information. And make sure it gets submitted before July 31st if there's some people that they would like to nominate. No promises, but that's one thing. And again, the more information on there to kind of educate us makes all the difference.
Who should be in? I mean, you can think of maybe the smokers, but who else should be in?
Well, he was a smoker. Yeah. One of our first national touring drag racers was Jack Williams.
Right.
I'm kind of partial to Jack because Jack
absolutely.
is family through marriage, but he raced against Mongoose and Garlitz and I mean, he was in, Garlitz's first Indy final and lost to Grand Garlitz, but in fact, Jack argues he won that race. So, but yeah, I mean, in fact, Jack Williams was declared the first national champion in Top Fuel. I want to say it was 64. The first time they actually kept track of national championship points, he won that first championship.
Right.
So he is the first national world champion in Top Fuel from Bakersfield.
Because you look at this, I mean, you talk about the great motorsports history, and Mike has kind of touched on it.
Yeah.
We're talking about also the anniversary of the county being 150
Yeah.
years old. The paper is actually 150 years old as well. And it's what's happened out at Famoso. I mean, going back to the original Don Garlitz race. I mean, it's a really important history to the sport. It's probably one of the big areas where you could say there's been very few big events that have changed sports, and that's probably one of them.
Everybody has that time when they say that's what put you on the map.
Yeah.
That's 59 March Meet. That's Bakersfield right there. When Don Garlitz came out and the Smokers paid him, that's when Bakersfield got put on the map.
I think, Jeff, that if you were to do like a top 10, sports moments, I think that first March Meet would have to be, or that big March Meet in 59 would have to be one of them. Jim Ryan breaking the world record at Memorial Stadium in 1967, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or 66. Those are all big moments.
There are some amazing stories.
Amazing stories that are out there too. So, but we got to get this taken care of. Jeff, what are we going to do about this?
Well, again, it'd be like Blake or people that could
to nominate somebody.
To nominate somebody.
I didn't know. That's good to know. I certainly will pursue that.
Because, again, I think it's it was easy to get Kevin Harvick in, and it was easy to get a 4-time Indy winner Rick Mears in, and
certainly a lot more media attention when it comes to something like that.
And then but as far as like you said, you mentioned Warren. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any knowledge of him to the point where you would be able to, off the top of your head, could fill out a lot of information about him, and that's really what anything. The more you can put out there for anybody watching and listening. That would help us because
was James Warren, was he an NHRA champion ever, a national champion?
Not a national champion. He did win national events.
National events, right?
Yes, won the March Meet 3 years in a row, which certainly was considered a national event
at the time. The time that he did that was a huge accomplishment.
Oh, he beat them all. I mean, he beat Muldowney, Garlitz, McEwen, the whole gang. So 3 years in a row. That was at the time. That was mid '70s. That event. That's when you made sure you were there.
Right.
If you were a national touring racer, you were at the March Meet.
Interesting. Yeah. You talk about that too. That at that time, you had major IndyCar teams here. You had the Rain for Rent group as well. So
yeah, that's James Warren's car. Yeah, the Rain for Rent special. Yeah. So it's there was there's big time touring teams that are out of Bakersfield. It's amazing. Yeah.
Mike Griffith is just texting in, by the way, right now. Jeff Evans.
Did he get her dates?
He's watching right now. Jeff Evans is replacing me. I'm free. No, Mike. Next week you will be back.
Mike is he in Nashville? I know he was in Nashville.
He's like running. You know what he's doing? I got to tell you this. He sent me a picture. My wife is convinced that she wants to live in a single wide mobile home.
And he's on the hunt for one.
He's on the hunt for one. So he travels the back roads of Missouri and Arkansas because that's where all his kids live and stuff. And that's like, he sends me the crappiest mobile homes you could ever find, like with 45 dogs out front and,
nothing but love from that guy.
Nothing but love from that guy. He says, hey, share this with your wife, And whenever he's around my wife, he does a little dig about, the motorhome thing. Yeah. Hey, just real quick, we got to get to some things here, but go to the slides here, Mr. John Farron. John Farron's in here today because Chris McCullough is either sick or dead. I can't remember which.
Hopefully he's not dead.
Hopefully it's sick.
Hopefully no, actually, I'm sorry. Charmaine Cleveland is nearly dead today. Chris is on vacation. He's on vacation. The motorsports team is getting there. I had an interesting, speaking of the motorsports team, an interesting call from James Valencia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've got a new fuel altered coming in, and he said, how can I get some more publicity? I said, well, why don't you come on the Power? Well, it didn't fit your schedule, but we're going to do a story on it because I'm going to make Griffith do that. So he doesn't know
like
that
the
yet.
old guy's rule because he's definitely, even though Mike is actually younger than me, even though he looks significantly older.
Yeah.
But he does have old guy's rule, So,
he does. Yeah, there's Grumpy Griff who's on vacation in, I think, Neosho, something in Missouri. Brad Keselowski won in Kentucky, his 4th win of the season, and played the fuel conservation game apparently, and won the race there. Some beautiful pictures there from USA Today Sports. And we're going to get to one of there's Keselowski. There's a great picture, by the way. I don't know what it says about the state of the sport, but look at that.
There you go.
There you go.
Let's drive home.
Yeah, exactly. Harvick was 9th. Mears was 30th. He's kind of been in a little bit of a slump. Ryan Reed was 29th in a race in Kentucky in the Xfinity Series. It was dominated by, I think Kyle Busch won that race. These guys, look at this guy.
Yeah,
Jack Beckman
good for
with a
him.
big win.
Got his first win this year.
Okay,
so.
let me ask you this. So this is an NHRA event. How tough is it, when you see those guys racing? Who do you cheer for? Here's Ron Capps, by the way.
I don't.
You don't?
I hope. There's a Snake. Yeah, Snake and Mongoose. I just talked to Mongoose before I walked in here, out in the parking lot, or out in the street. They're busy. Him and Snake were there at the show. They were the honored guests or the grand marshals, if you will.
Right.
And I just hope they stay safe, and because there's Robert Height, there's John Force, there's Jack, there's Ron, there's Cruiser. I mean, they're all friends of ours, and we just want to just be safe and
all these guys
come see us in October and March.
And that's reciprocal too, because this guy and the other guy, Ron Capps, they show up all the time. I mean, they're regulars out there. We just saw. And we just saw the Snake and the Mongoose have been out there all the time, and so great stuff. But Beckman won his first NHRA funny car race of the season Sunday at the Route 66 Raceway, beating the hottest driver in the series, Ron Capps. Capps had won 3 of the 4 past 4 events before winning in this at Joliet. Beckman, he just it's his 25th career win. 23 of which would come in funny car. Antron Brown. By the way, I'm telling you right now, if you are in motorsports, you got to watch Antron Brown. I think I told you before.
Yeah.
He does exercise videos every so often.
Oh, yeah.
That guy's in great shape.
Yeah.
He is amazing.
I think he and Matt Hagan work out together.
Is that right? Well, I saw
they're both just monsters.
He did a really impressive, almost like a CrossFit workout with Leah Pritchett.
Okay.
And it's I think
they're
it says
athletes.
They're athletes. don't dismiss them, because I mean I think you have to be an athlete to drive a car.
Any kind
of that kind of car, to
drive
manage
on a Saturday night. Going around in circles in dirt. You got to be an athlete.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
you may not look like one.
Right.
You may have the Tony Stewart look. But you're an athlete. I mean, it's a pounding.
Tony Stewart couldn't walk after Sonoma. Neither could Kevin Harvick.
Yeah.
My goodness.
No, those guys are tough.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more here on the Power Hour. We're going to talk Auto Club Formosa Raceway. I think I have it out of order, so I'll jump out of there and get it all fixed for us.
We'll
and everything.
figure
We
it out.
got stuff coming up, and we'll talk more about that after the break.